Hey guys, I'm here with another dating coach for Asian men, Alex, and today we're just going to talk about common limiting beliefs that guys have, like money, race, height, like to what extent they really matter in online dating. And also the difference that because it's really huge, the difference between looking good on pictures and being just a good looking person in real life. You don't necessarily need to look very good in real life to look good on pictures because it's all about how you portray yourself. And yeah, that's basically what we're going to do today.
Sweet. Thanks for the intro, Sandrick. And yeah, I think this is going to be super interesting. I mean, obviously, we have an Asian guy here, we have a black guy here, and I know, for myself that I would have loved to see this like 4 to 5 years ago because there were so many limiting beliefs around my race and things like that. So real quick, my name is Alex B. I'm a online dating coach, specializing in online dating apps for Asian men specifically. And yeah, I'll just go over a little bit of my story real quick, and would also love to hear yours, Cendric. But so yeah, I was raised in Texas in a mostly white community, and so I felt really left out a lot of times, culturally and like racially, and there were no examples of attractive Asian men in media, and for me, I just thought like I was going to be really left out because I had no female attention. I was kind of like the nerdy math, piano kid. And yeah, that lasted all the way through elementary, middle, and high school. And my breaking point was in college when I had these huge crushes on three different girls and in 3 separate years. And I'm sure many people have had this experience, but I came out to them very courageously and said, like, hey, I really like you. And they all said the same thing, like, hey, Alex, you seem like a nice guy, but I just see us as friends. And for me, that was my darkest, lowest point, because I really, I didn't have any girls and I thought I couldn't be attractive. And I had all these huge limiting beliefs about my race. But from there, I decided to just try stuff, right? It couldn't get worse. So I got my hands on photography, editing, grooming, fashion, social skills, and really just put myself out there. And in terms of online dating, it took me about 3 to 4 years of like iterating and trying new photos and theories and all the stuff on the internet. I've read it all. But to implement it for an Asian guy and have it work in the West was, to me, it was a crazy level of difficulty. And after a while, it started to work. I got matches, I got dates with girls I was happy with and excited about. And through the whole process, too, I gained a lot of confidence. And I saw that it really wasn't my race that was holding me back. And there were so many things that I could do that were in my control to have power in my dating life and to attract the type of women that I wanted. So for me, it's really interesting to be able to help specifically Asian guys because honestly, I think Asian guys have it the hardest on dating apps. And so the amount of nuance and stuff that I've learned through my journey and been able to apply for my clients has been really rewarding. Um, so yeah, that's a little bit about me. Sandra, if you want to say a little bit about you.
Yeah, I don't even know where to start, but I would just free flow. So for my entire life, I've basically been the shy, reserved kid, being raised without a father figure. And yeah, if your mother raises you, she does it in a way that you become a gentleman, aka like people pleaser, not the gentleman that women are attracted to. And that's who I was. And I was very afraid to just talk to even a grandma on the street. I would rather have fought a crocodile bare hands than talk to anyone I did not know. I was shitting my pants just the thought of going up to someone asking for the way direction was not possible. Um, so at one point I was just so sick of it. Like it was a major event that I don't want to get into here because it's like a trauma that I have. Um, but that led to me googling how to become good with women, and yeah, they said, yeah, you just go baby step this shit, like go to the city and approach someone and ask for the time, and I could not do that. That was like hardest. That was like the boss level for me. So I was running around for months. At that time, I was like a World of Warcraft nerd playing computer games, like playing World of Warcraft all day, all night long, basically. So instead of doing this, I gave up my online world, online life, which was the only life that I had at that point, to become good in real life, basically. And I went out on the street to the city. It was like 1.5 hours away, with the goal of talking to someone and asking for the way or directions. I could not do that, and I walked around for like 6 hours straight without a pause. Um, and I did this for months until I finally got myself to talk to a grandma and ask her for directions. And it felt like I won the lottery. And after that, I just set more and more like bigger goals for myself to really like improve as a person and develop myself and become more social, because that's what it was all about. But that was like in Spain when I was living there. And then I came to Germany, and I was still not good with women. I could talk to people at that point, but I was shit with women. And I could not be myself when I talked to women in person. But in online dating, I knew that when you match, the woman already likes you, so I have nothing to lose. So I can totally be myself. And I could be myself on dates, but I could not get dates from online dating. So that was another different challenge that I had. Um, I hired, like, I tried to hire, I reached out to dating coaches at that point, but they all told me, yeah, you're not successful in online dating because you're a black guy in Germany, which is like a white country. You're the minority, and most women, they are just into white guys with blonde hair, blue eyes. That's normal. You just have to accept it. Yeah, and I did not want to accept that shit, because it means that I have to accept not getting results with women because of my looks, which is stupid because I can't change my skin color. Like, how would I do that? I'm not going to do the same that Michael Jackson did, for example. Um, so I didn't want to accept what they told me, and I tried to find out everything else that I could that was in my control, in my power. And I told myself, if I should not make it happen, like if it shouldn't work at that point after I tried everything else, then I can accept that it's my skin color. But before that, I'm not going to accept that my skin color is the reason that I'm not getting results. So I was like crazy. You could say if there was a university degree about online dating, I would have a master or doctor in it, because I was obsessed. I spent like hundreds upon hundreds of dollars for, or euros, because we use euros in Germany, on SIM cards just to do experience with new accounts, because I got banned for saying weird stuff. Um, but that's how it works when you're trying to do experiments and find out what works and what doesn't. And I literally created Excel sheets, tested different messages, different types of pictures, because what most dating coaches recommended did not really work out. It was like sending long poems, basically like long paragraphs of messages to women that, of course, are not going to work. But since you didn't figure it out at that point, you just believe them, or taking try hard pictures like on the phone to seem busy. All that shit did not work, and it took me actually 6 years to figure this stuff out, because it was so frustrating. And like I almost, like, some nights I cried myself to sleep because it was so mentally taxing that I could not get the results that I wanted. But after many years, it finally clicked, and I found out what works, what doesn't work, through trial and error. And then I knew exactly the blueprint, how to make it work. And now I can teach other men how to make it work. And I do this like all over the world, like online, but I do it with men from everywhere in the world, basically. Mostly America, Canada, and Australia. That's like my main places.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was a
Awesome.
little longer, but my
No,
story, I could
awesome.
go even longer into my story if I wanted to.
I love it. I mean, it took you like 6 years to figure it out. It took me about like 4 years. And like just like you said, like, I feel like because one of the topics we wanted to talk about, which I think is fascinating, is race and how this plays here. It's like for a black guy in Germany, you know, who knows? It's probably about the same level of difficulty for an Asian guy in America. And the fact that we had to overcome so many barriers to get the success that we have, I feel like makes us uniquely qualified to be like, we know how every single thing works. It's not like anything came easy to us. You had to figure out every single variable.
Yeah, that's definitely right. And also, even like today, I'm in a relationship with the woman of my dreams. But when I was still single 2 years ago, even then, I could not have, for example, a bio. If my bio was not in perfect German grammar, women would assume that I'm a refugee, I'm a tourist, I just don't speak German well. If I did not have a picture with a white person, women would assume that I'm not integrated in society. And if I had a really amazing picture wearing a leather jacket, but just because of me wearing a leather jacket, women assumed I'm a gangster or a drug dealer. So it's this stuff, like you have to experience it to believe it, because most men that I tell this to, they don't think this is true, but this is our reality in the world. Like, there are prejudices, there's racism, even like if it's hidden racism, or maybe it's not even like in a negative way meant from women, but it's just their upbringing, society, manipulation, like all this stuff. It also applies to Asian guys. Like, they are all like nice guys, they are all very intelligent but nice, have very bad social skills and stuff like that, you know. And for black people, it's like dangerous drug dealers. It's different struggles that different ethnicities have.
Hmm. Yeah, what tips do you usually give to your guys who are like minorities? What do you do differently with their profiles that somebody who is, like, say, white or the majority in their country wouldn't need to do?
Um, actually, first, I know the different types of minorities that exist and the different stereotypes connected to them. But if there was like a new race that I know nothing about, which is like at this point there's no new
Avatar,
races,
avatars, the
yeah,
blue people.
exactly. Then I would research everything about that race, all the stereotypes connected, what it's being known for, but also the strength. And then when it comes to online dating, to the pictures, I would just portray the strength of that race and basically hide the weaknesses. Because women should not be able to stereotype someone. For example, if it's an Asian guy, he should not look like a nice guy and very intelligent and very like socially uncalibrated, but instead the opposite, like a bad boy or something that women can't grasp. They can't put you in that box. Oh, the typical Asian
Mhm.
guy or the typical African guy. Oh, if it's an Indian, like I would probably not take pictures wearing the clothes they wear, like the typical ones. I don't know how
Mhm.
they are called, but just avoid those things that are connected to your race. It doesn't mean that you need to be ashamed of your race at
Or like
all.
the things that have negative perceptions.
Yeah, yeah, never. Yeah, that's what I meant. And I don't mean this in a way that, yeah, I have to be ashamed of being black. No, but
Mhm.
just portray the strengths instead of the things that have negative connotations.
And you have to like actively kind of work against the negative things because it's like people have biases and default perceptions. And if they see you and they see you a certain way and you don't do anything to counteract it, then they're just going to assume that you're that way.
Yeah, exactly. That's also how I think. And with like black people, it's very easy because it's like normally they have a big nose. I don't because I'm mixed, or like big lips, and the skin color. So it's you can't hide it. You can't hide the fact that you're African. You can also not hide the fact that you're Asian because you view everything in like 16 to 9. You know, like as a little joke, no offense, you know. But yeah,
Mhm.
there are certain things that are just obvious and you can't hide them. So be proud of those positive things connected to your race instead.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. What I found out, this was kind of like the last missing piece for me when I found this out was because I had a bunch of friends who I knew who were white, and really good looking guys, like nice facial structure, beards and everything, and geez, they looked nice. And one of my friends, he was killing it on Tinder. He had three photos, all the same, just him looking very handsome. That was it. No hobbies, activities, guitar, dog, whatever, nothing, right? And so I tried that, and did not work. It did better than before. He taught me like very useful stuff in terms of posing and how to test your photos and how to know which kind of photos are going to work. But I did that, and then I tried something else on top of that, which was adding in personality, because I know that women are attracted to more than just looks. In fact, looks is a small percentage. They're attracted to different characteristic traits like risk taking, bold, leadership, caring, authority, things like that, that women are attracted to in person, right? So I thought to myself, how can I convey these things through my photos so that a woman would be able to see my characteristic traits? And so then on top of those like handsome looking photos, I also learned to take photos that demonstrated characteristics. For example, like I have a paragliding photo that shows that I'm very adventurous, that I'm risk taking, that I'm bold. I have like a dog photo which shows like my human side, my soft side. I've had different types of hobby photos, like, or I have a video right now that I've been using that's really effective of me salsa dancing, right? So that demonstrates all sorts of stuff like skills, like the fact that I'm comfortable around women, etc. I've had a photo of me doing public speaking in front of a group of people, shows a lot of authority. My clients have had a lot of success, like one of them with a photo, him doing stand-up comedy in front of a bunch of people, right? So as an Asian guy, that's what I figured out would round out my profile. Besides just having like a good looking headshot, you need to show aspects of your personality in your life so that you have so many more bonus points to add, that, to be honest, like the very good looking white guy doesn't need to do that. In fact, they would kill it if they did, but they don't need to.
Yeah, it's just as a minority, you have to work harder to achieve the same level of success a good looking white guy would. But what most men in general don't understand, I think, is that women don't just care about you looking all cool alpha and like nothing can hurt you, but they want to be able to see, okay, who's this guy? They want to grasp you and get an impression of who you could be as a person and what your life could be like. And they won't be able to do that if you put on a mask and appear like the alpha guy. Yeah, the alpha guy, he looks cool to other men, but women can't relate to you at all on no level. You don't seem down to earth. You don't seem real. Like, yeah, you're a real person, but you don't seem like showing your real personality.
Yeah,
Um,
women they want to see the complete package. They want to see that you're successful in your life, that you're doing exciting things, that there are other people in your life, that you have fun activities going on, that you look happy, that you look positive. Like there's so many nuances to it that go beyond just like taking a photo, or even a professional photo. I've seen professional photos taken of guys that don't work at all. A lot of people think that's the magic pill and cure all. No, it's like the professional photo needs to have you looking good, like fashion, grooming wise, hairstyle wise, and convey the right facial expressions, emotions, body language, confidence, and whatever the activity is you're doing in the photo needs to look fun, engaging. Like um there's so much communication that happens through the photo that kind of is beyond the just the surface level.
yeah, I totally agree. Most men, they just care about the surface level, but what's below the surface is way more important. And women can see behind the curtains, basically. And they look at, okay, how comfortable does this guy seem, how confident does he look, how sociable, or like your entire body language. Like if you cross arms, for example, that's closed off body language, that's negative. That's
Yep.
And most men think they look extra cool if they do this. They look like, I don't know, Superman, whatever. Like this is like common misconceptions that men have. And women, they want to feel emotions when they look at your pictures. It's not just, okay, this guy's good looking. That's also very important at the same time, but you want to give them a roller coaster ride of emotions. Like with every picture they look at, they need to feel emotions. They need to be able to feel you or feel who you are, basically. And then the same with texting, of course. Like most guys bore them to that, but you have to give them a roller coaster ride of emotions, because if you do, then they can only imagine what else you would be able to do in person. If you can, just over a few lines of text, if you can trigger their emotions so many ways that no other man would be able to. But yeah, I totally get it. What you said about many men thinking that you just need professional pictures and that's it. But I really believe that, and from my experience, it is that way. 90% of photographers out there have no idea about how to take pictures about like for online dating. They can take pictures for Instagram, like social media,
Yes,
Facebook,
yes.
websites, LinkedIn, but not online dating. They need
Yep.
to be aware of sub communications and like what's below the surface, like we already explained, and not just, okay, this guy looks good. Because you can look good and at the same time the picture portrays something negative about you, what
Hmm.
women see but what you don't see. That's also why most men sabotage themselves. It's like they go on a football field with a 20-kilogram chain tied to their leg trying to play football. How effective is this going to be? Not at all. So you really need to know how to pose, how to put on the right expressions in your face, how to, this is also very important, like how to loosen up and relax in front of the camera,
Hmm.
because if you are in your head or whatever, it will show on the picture. You can't hide that shit. It's not
Yes.
possible.
Yeah. I mean, the facial expression's so important because, like, it's a snapshot. It's a snapshot in that moment. And if you happen to have like an awkward, like frowny face or something, like you could be the coolest guy in the world, but you wouldn't know because that snapshot shows you as like feeling awkward and uncomfortable. So like in that snapshot, you need to look the most confident version of you, the most positive, the most whatever, like relaxed. And that's why also you take hundreds of photos so that way you can choose the good ones, but also like Sandrick was saying, like you prepare by knowing how to pose, knowing how to do your facial expressions properly, and also right, like I know you help your clients photographers with how to shoot them, and I do the same. Like I tell the photographers exactly what to do, what to look for, because just because you know how to shoot a wedding doesn't mean you know how to shoot, online dating photos.
Yeah, exactly. That's the case. It's like most men think, okay, I'm just going to hire a photographer and then use those pictures in online dating and they will work. No, because you need to know the sub communications and know the emotions behind, and not just how to look attractive. And even that, like most photographers, they take professional pictures of you. They are good quality, but they are not attractive pictures in the eyes of women at all. And a good photo, like I always say, is a combination of the photographer and the model, quote unquote, the person in front of the camera working together. If the
Yes.
photographer is like a star photographer from New York, whatever, you will still not look good on the picture if you have no idea what to do in front of the camera. And if you know, if you're a model or whatever, but the photographer sucks, the pictures will still not be good. It needs to be like both need to be taken care of, and both need to be in the same boat. Both
Yeah.
need to know exactly what the end result should be.
So a sort of tangentially related topic here. A bunch of guys, uh, I feel like have this idea that like, okay, you need to be rich, you need to have money, and maybe I need to show off my car in my photos. Like, so race is one thing. Money, money, money. How like
Money.
should people put a sports car in their photo or like stand in front of a mansion? Like, what about that?
um, the thing is, if you like pose with the car or with the mansion, women will just assume that it's not yours because it's try hard. Like if it's yours, you don't need to show it. If you try to show something so bad to get someone else's approval, you probably don't own it, or it's probably not yours. So I would never pose next to the love of your life, which is your car, how I always call it, or a mansion or whatever. It's okay if you're chilling on a yacht with friends and like have a picture of that, but that's more like a lifestyle picture that's casual and it's
Mhm.
not like in your face. Oh, look at what I have, like cool thing. It's my car, whatever. So money does not matter at all. What matters is lifestyle, status. However, um, also when it comes to money, the only women that really care about money are gold diggers. And most men don't realize that. Like they try to show every cool material stuff they have, and then they wonder why they're attracting women that just want them for their money or for what they have. It's like a very like controversial thing. Um, I was so fucking broke. Like I had a health condition. I could not work for an entire year. I could not leave my house at all, and I was broke. And I still had dates, and women still loved me for who I am because I did own it. Like I just said, okay, this is my situation, whatever. I'm broke. However, women want to meet me because of my personality and not because of what I have. If someone wants to meet me because of what I have, I don't care about that person because I want to be valued for who I am and not what I own. And I
Yep.
didn't have a car. I was broke. I was sleeping on. I had one room. I don't know how to say this in English, but it was like it was very small. It was just one room. It was a kitchen inside and also a shower inside my bedroom, basically. And no woman complained when they saw it because they did not care. They just cared about me and about our vibe together and about us being there together and not about yeah me being rich or whatever. And most women value that doesn't don't value that at all. But men think women only care about money or care about money so hard when in reality they don't. I think you also made experiences with that.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, like, well, first of all, in real life, like no girl I've ever gone on a date with has ever known how much money I make. Like that number has changed over the years, but no girl has ever known that and or made a decision about me regarding that. And second of all, I actually tested this like kind of accidentally. I went on a really cool helicopter ride when I was in Rio in Brazil, and I got some cool photos for it. And I threw that on my Hinge. And the crazy thing is, like, I will test things like that and see which photos get more likes so that I know which ones are hitting well. And that photo got like no attention, no likes, nothing. Right next to that photo, I've had this other photo of me with a dog for a long time now. That one gets so much likes, it's crazy. I'm like, what the heck? Like all the girls like this like very casual photo of me hanging out with this with this dog, and no girls like the photo of me with the helicopter. So eventually, I took off the helicopter. I replaced it with the video I was talking about earlier of me dancing salsa, and that one gets so much hits.
Yeah,
So
it's like
it's
dancing.
like, dude, it's crazy. It's like, yeah, they don't just like fundamentally, like you were saying, Sandrick, women want to experience good emotions from you. They want to feel like they have good vibes with you, and they want to know how it is like to hang out with you. And them watching a exciting video of dancing and me having fun, that gives them such a more fulfilling emotional experience than seeing me posing in front of this cool looking helicopter or whatever. So yeah, like that to me was concrete evidence that like I didn't need to um, show off some crazy extravagant type of thing or like high status lifestyle or whatever in my photos. I just need to show like the normal things in life, but portray them in an attractive way.
Yeah, I really like that example that you gave with the helicopter because I have a picture. Oh, I'm not using dating apps, but I had a picture on my profile with a yacht, like me being on a yacht, and I tried to put that first because I thought, yeah, then woman will think that I'm like the cool guy who has a yacht, and they
Mhm.
will want me more, and they will not care about my skin color anymore. But the fact is, when I put that first, I only attracted women that messaged me, or is that your yacht? And they just wanted to know if that's my yacht and not like who I am. They just wanted to know about what I possess. And I realized that, so I put that picture last. And when I put it last, that was just a bonus. Like, women already saw all the amazing pictures in my profile. And then the last one was that materials thing, but it was just on top, like cherry on top. It was like, oh, this guy has a cool life, great personality. Oh, and he's on the yacht. That's also cool, but it's not like, oh, he's on the yacht. I need to know if that's his. So it just added additionally, casually,
Yeah.
basically, and that works really well. I figured, but having that first in the first three pictures or whatever did not do me a favor at all.
Yeah, and even in real life, like some guys have the conception that like, okay, if I have a yacht, if I have a mansion, then girls are gonna love me, right? And the guys who have yachts and mansions, they don't necessarily attract the girl because of that. What happens is they will host an event or a cool party and they invite the girls, right? And the girls go on the yacht because it's a cool experience. But once you're on the yacht, like the guy still needs to have a good personality. He needs to know how to attract the girl. He needs to know how to talk to her in order for her to find him attractive. Otherwise, what's going to happen is the girl's going to have a great time on the yacht, take a lot of photos for IG, and she's going to go home. She's going to leave and say, "Thank you, sir. Bye-bye. I want nothing to do with you." Right? If the guy actually wants to like get with the girl or have a relationship with her, like the yacht can help him meet her, but it's not going to attract her. So at the end of the day, like just like you were saying, Sandra, it's about the vibe, it's about the personality, and fundamentally, whether you can give the girl the good emotions. The yacht's not going to do the work for you in that regard.
Exactly, and what I find funny is like, then we explain this, but then guys would say, okay, and what about the Tinder swindler? He had like a lot of material things, and he attracted a ton of women, and he got money from that woman. He got those women to give him money, basically.
That blows my mind too. I mean, honestly, he was in a league of his own. Let's maybe in 10 years I'll get to his level.
Yeah, and I also think his profile was not just materialistic, but it showed a lifestyle, and that's what the woman valued. Not, oh, he owns that thing, but oh, he has financial stability, he has like those great qualities that you need to become successful in life. Because that's what
Mhm.
it's about. For example, if you have a great physique, it's not just about the physique, but it's about the work that's behind, the ambition, the drive. It's fucking hard. Like, I'm trying to gain a lot of weight. I gained 20 kilograms already, and I can tell you, it's like a full-time job. And this passion behind this is what attracts women. Yeah, the end result looks nice and all, but really, like, being consistent, being able to stick to a goal that you set for yourself, that's fucking attractive.
Mhm. Yeah, let's talk about that a little. Like looks, muscles, physique. Like, do you need a six pack in order to do well on Tinder?
For the longest part of my life, I did not have a six pack, and I still did well. And I was like, I was not skinny, but I was normal, I would say, less buff than I'm now, and I still had great success. I don't know how my success would be now because I've never been as in shape as I'm now when I was single. So no, you don't fucking need a good body, like not at all. And if you're skinny, you like at least like if you're very very skinny, like a stick figure, that's fine. I used to be like that. Um, but then I would not necessarily wear tight shirts or whatever, and I would try to wear jackets because that can repel some women if you're way too skinny in an unhealthy way. Then I would definitely not like play to the strength and not the weaknesses, let's say. But anything else, like even if you're fat, you can still look attractive on pictures. I would still recommend working out, like doing something for your health and to get in better shape, because then your mind will also become like much more like much better. Because it's also a mental thing, not just a physical one. But you don't necessarily need a good physique or need to be athletic to attract women. I think the same happened to you. Yeah, I don't know. You're not ripped, but you are like
I'm kind of like
normal. I don't know what you are.
medium in shape, right? I've always been on the skinnier side. I've definitely put on some muscle over the years. Right? And then it was for me and for me to attract more women, definitely. But the crazy thing is like I've also run this experiment. I'm a pretty skinny guy, and so I like photoshopped abs onto a photo of me on the beach. And I put it on Hinge, and did it get attention? No, it was the same as the helicopter pic. It got way less attention than like my dog photo, my dancing photo, like all the other things that I didn't think would be so popular. And so then, yeah, I took it off because it wasn't like working. It was almost this like blatant trying to show off kind of thing, just like, "Oh, I have a six pack or I have money." Like, no, like it didn't respond well. It didn't hit well. And what I found is like all my across all my clients, dude, none of them have a six pack. Nobody. But that's not even what we're taking photos of. We're taking photos of them in nice clothes that fit well, that make their body look good. We've done things with their hair and their fashion and their accessories to make them look fashionable and well groomed. And then their facial expressions convey confidence, ease, being relaxed. And that is so much more inviting for a girl. She feels like comfortable, seeing that. She could imagine herself hanging out with this guy rather than just some guy like the typical kind of douche photo of like in the gym with the six pack or whatever, right? Like that, it conveys so much more to her. And I've just found that like none of these clients have needed a six pack in order to succeed. Even the quote unquote least good looking guys that I've had as clients, we do a little bit of fashion makeover, make them look good, and then take some good photos of them. Like it's night and day. So even if a guy could spend the next 2 years getting a six pack, I think that would help him like this much. Whereas like getting your hair and your fashion on point is like this much.
Totally agree with you. In fact, only one of my students is really in good shape. He doesn't have a six pack. He's a personal trainer, but he's more like bigger on the bigger side. Like if he leaned down, he would have a six pack, but it's hidden beneath fat. Not fat as like he's fat, but body fat. So you don't need a six pack. And I also did an experience not a while ago, many years ago. Because I went through phases where I was like ripped and not ripped. And at that phase, when I did this experience, I would say, not ripped, but I was looking decent. And I put a web picture of myself in my profile to see if women would even notice that. And then I got them out on a date, and we eventually ended up with our closest at some point, and they saw my body, and they didn't care. They didn't care that I did not look as good as I looked, as I used to look, physical wise, like my physique. They did not even notice, I think, because it was not in their head as a priority. Their priority was me as a person, and not my body. My body is just, yeah, the body, but what's more important is the vibe, the confidence, all those things that make, like, turn Sunrick into Sunrick, and not just the body. So that was very interesting to see that, yeah, they did not care that I did not have that body that they thought I would have, because having a picture like that, you create certain expectations. And I did not meet those expectations with my body, but they still liked me.
Mm-hmm.
And that was
Yeah.
very interesting.
Man, that's crazy when once you have those experiences, then you really know like, oh wow, like no girl really cares about that.
Yeah,
Um,
totally. It's like it was a moment of, wow, mind blowing almost, because I kind of expected them to say something at least, like say, yeah, you got in worse
yeah,
shape or
you're not in
whatever.
as good shape. You're not in as good shape anymore. Now, here's
You're
the crazy thing.
catfishing.
If you were as a guy, right, if a girl looks dramatically different or she's more out of shape in real life, than in her photos, you're going to be a little disappointed, right? Because us guys, we're very, very attracted to physical looks. That's just wired in our brain. So we think that women also think that way, but they don't. Physical looks obviously matters to a degree, but it's like 80-20 rule. It's like for us, it's who knows, it could be 80, and for them it's like 20. It's like so little that you don't need to worry about it so much, not to the degree that we tend to think about it. So it's like, don't think that whatever you're attracted to in a woman is what makes women attracted to you.
For sure. It's very easy to assume just because you think in a way, women think in the same way, because it's logical, right? We are just all humans. But that's not the case, as you already explained. And I know that you, just like I do, portray men in the profile more attractive than they actually are in real life. Not just that you dress them well and do all the like teach them all the stuff they need to know, like posing expressions and have the right photographer, but you also edit pictures like I do, um, and makes them more attractive. And women don't feel catfished. Like most women would say, yeah, but if I look better on pictures,
I wouldn't even say make them look more attractive. I would just say make them look the most
yeah, the
attractive
most attractive,
they can.
yeah,
Because most guys don't know how to maximize how attractive they look. Because the same guy, because we were talking about this off camera, the difference between being good looking and looking good, right? The same guy, you could take a photo of me right now in the mirror, a selfie, a bad lighting and whatever from an awkward angle, and it would do terrible on online dating. And you could go get me an awesome professional photo with good lighting, wearing good clothes, hair's well done. And right, that would be the same person. I'm looking good or looking bad. But like if I, when you see me in my pajamas and my hair is all messed up because I just woke up, like it's not attractive, you know, but I'm still the same person. So like people don't realize how much better they can look. Like my clients probably improve like 3 to 4 points in terms of like physical looks, just by getting the right clothes, getting the right hairstyle, wearing the right accessories, and then getting photos that actually make them look good. You want to obviously make yourself the most presentable you can, and then the photo itself can give you an extra point in terms of presentation.
yeah, yeah. That's also what I meant. Um, I retouch pictures, so guys look. Apart from what you already mentioned, I like make the picture look flawless. If there's like the contrast, the shadows, the highlights, maybe blemishes in their face. Like for example, a picture of mine. When I smile, my face looks fat, but this doesn't reflect who I am. So it would portray a wrong version of me because I'm not fat, you know. But just if you see my face and I smile, I have like a big smile and a like baby face kind of, and then I look like wider, so I need to make the face slimmer. Or like on a day of a shooting, suddenly normally my face is very like clear, of pimples and stuff. But on the day of the shooting, I suddenly became pimples on my face. Just on that day, it's like, yeah, my face said, okay, I'm going to fuck up his photo shoot. So I removed those little things that you have no control over, because there's always things that can go wrong. Let's say you didn't sleep enough at night, then you might have like bags under your eyes. But normally you would not have those bags, so they need to be removed, and that would still be the best version of you. It's not fake. It's just like removing things that are normally not there, like negative things.
Yep. Yep, exactly. So again, back to the idea of the snapshot. It's like if we're gonna get a snapshot of you, that's just this one photo. We want to capture you at your peak, the best version of you. We don't want to capture you at the valley where you're like looking the worst of you. They're both you, right? Everyone has their best version and worst version on a daily basis, kind of in terms of how you look, your presentation, whatever. But we want to get a photo of you looking the best version so that you put your best foot forward. And it's not like manipulative or like shady or whatever. The analogy I always use is like resumes for job interviews. It's like if you're going to apply to hundreds of jobs, you're going to make sure your resume is really damn good. Like you're going to make sure it's polished, it's on resume paper, all the lines are perfectly edited, you made sure all the punctuation and the spelling's good. Like you really put an effort to present your best foot forward. Well, why wouldn't you do that on online dating? Most guys just pull out random photos from their camera roll. That's the equivalent of like doing your resume and you wrote it like one time for 5 minutes and it's like the first draft and you're like, but no company gave me an interview. I'm the best candidate, but I didn't get any interviews. Well, of course you didn't, because like you didn't put any effort in. It's so the same thing applies to online dating.
Yeah, and the thing is also like when it comes to their profile, like most men, they don't put in effort and they expect to get good results, and this won't happen. But at the same time, if you put in effort and if you do all the right things and avoid doing all those mistakes, you barely have any competition, because most guys, they shoot themselves in the foot, like I already explained earlier, and they make themselves look less attractive than they like could look if they didn't do all those things wrong. And if they don't do this mistake with their profile, they do it with the texting. So even a model looking guy, if he's like creepy or nice guy or whatever, the girl will eventually get bored of him and then like go to you instead of, or go to one of our students instead of that model looking guy, because that model looking guy couldn't keep his game up, because he had no game, because he always had to rely or just relied on his looks, and it worked. But online dating, you need more than to be good looking.
And I think that's a great way to wrap this up, to kind of summarize like the entire conversation, which is, if you do this right, there's very little competition. Like, because everyone's doing so many things wrong. Even the good looking guys out there are doing so many things wrong that as an Asian guy, as a black guy, as a minority, or whoever you are, if you just do all the things right, you just blow everyone out of the water. That's what I realized, is like, as an Asian guy, like, yeah, your starting point may be lower. Maybe you're here, but if you do all the things right, you're like here. And guess what? Everyone else is still here. So it's like, it's not a competition. It's not a race. It's just a matter of how can you present your best self and do all the things right in terms of presenting yourself online. From there, it's like, there's more than enough for everyone. You can find all the dates you want. You can meet your dream girl, whatever, but it's like, there's no competition.
Yeah, it's also what I noticed. If you do all the things right, you barely have any competition, and they will just focus on you. Even if you thought you had that competition, that competition will automatically disappear by doing those mistakes that you won't be doing.
Exactly.
So,
yeah,
I totally agree with you.
Girls get so many matches that like it's hard for them to choose who to talk to. But if you are heads and shoulders above the rest, you're the only one they're going to want to talk to. They're just going to ignore all the rest. That's what girls do anyways. They have to ignore a lot of guys all the time. But when one really stands out, then that's when they get intrigued and they want to continue it forward.
Exactly. And also, like, when they see your profile, they should be like, wow, who's this guy? I need to meet him. And the first picture even needs to capture their attention, because like the attention span is like, I don't know, 0.5 seconds. I have no idea. Like, women get distracted all the time from other apps on their phone, from friends texting them. So you need to really make sure to capture their attention in the first second. And most men, if they have good pictures, they are not the first picture. It's like later in the profile, but women won't even look at those because the first picture sucks. So that's the most important picture. Of course, the rest also needs to be like on point at the same level, but a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. And you don't even, like, you should not even have one weaker link than the rest, because that's how women will perceive you. Even if you have 4 amazing pictures, the 5th one is less amazing, this is how women will see you. And most guys do this mistake without being aware of it because they suck at portraying themselves. So they make it really easy for our students or us or me
Absolutely.
in the past. So this is like, it can become easy mode if you know how this works. It's like kind of rocket science, but once you understand this rocket science, it's like easy. Like you wouldn't even think anymore about going to a bar or a club and have all this competition there, or going out chasing for women on the street like a headless chicken. You wouldn't even want to invest your time into that because you can just like get women to come to your place from the comfort of your home, sitting on the toilet. Like how easy is that, and how much time does it save you? You know, it's like
Literally, just like just spend a few minutes swiping every day, send some messages while you're on the toilet, and um, yeah,
yeah,
have your day
it's
taken care of.
it's really crazy. You're also saving money, not only time, but also money that you would otherwise have paid for public transport or entrance at night, or even like alcohol.
Alcohol.
Like a lot of men need alcohol to loosen up, be themselves. Otherwise,
Mhm.
they fear of being judged by other people, can't dance freely. Like this is a normal thing. Alcohol is a legal drug, so everyone like pays so much money on a night out. And imagine using that money to pay for Tinder subscription with a good profile that gets you like dates on end, like without like having to invest a lot of time. This is, it's always crazy to me if people say, yeah, but why do online dating if you can talk to women in person? Yeah, but you can talk to one woman at a time. You can't talk to multiple women at a time unless you clone yourself, which is not possible yet.
Cool. I feel like this is a good spot to wrap up. Cedric, is there any last thoughts you want to mention?
Um, yeah, I just did. Those were my lost socks.
So what he's trying to say is, if you know how to clone yourself, please reach out.
Yeah, we want to know.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that's fantastic. So we talked about, I mean, a lot of interesting topics: race, money, looks, muscles, material objects, like how to get good photos that show off your best self. I mean, just like I was saying at the beginning, I think this is awesome. Like I would have killed to see this when I was younger, just because race was such a limiting belief that I had. So yeah, thanks for sharing, and also it was great for me to be able to share my experiences and see that we had quite some similarities in terms of our journeys.
Yeah, that's also the reason that I wanted to do this with you, because I felt like we have the same values, and we are both minorities and we both struggled, and we know exactly how someone else who is at that point feels, and that's why it's way like we can help them way better than someone who has never experienced racism or prejudice, because if you didn't like experience that, you don't know how it feels. Like it's not possible. Someone can tell you, but you need to experience it yourself, and only then you can really understand.
Absolutely, 100%. Cool. Well, yeah, thanks for the time, Cendric, and I guess we'll we'll call it bye bye here.
Yeah, thank you.